So these corruption criminals have done this crazy thing by trending topics to shape the listening of audiences. For example, they talked about eighth place trophies but never explained it. They gave one-liners and gimmicks to fuel pretty privilege but talked against pretty privilege. Then they started dating and got engaged to pretty privilege. Then they gave pretty privilege a free ride. And then shaped the listening of an audience to be kind. That's some messed up shit. Then they ran around and talked about money while saying don't care about money, but then all they do is talk about money. Then they lie to you and tell you that you're in control and don't worry about things that you can't control. However, there's gatekeepers and they've created control. They create FOMO. They create 12 and a half illogical emotional ingredients to create emotion as business versus actual business to distort the idea of what business is. Well, they just favor each other in a Ponzi scheme. While they bring up inconspicuously agenda fueling nonsense like eat clean, well, they try to talk about water while you proclaim you're going to give $10 million to some water organized crime group because your woman stood in front of a window with a glass of water erotically in the dark while saying water's not clean in America. Where you then give her a free ride while you tell her and tell everyone that there's no such thing as being lucky. However, because you said you like her, also part of your brand is that you tell people if you can build a brand, people will do whatever you want them to do. So then you tell everyone that that's your fiance, and then you create a trust game of playing the field while you say how much you love it. So what does it tell you about who you are as an audience? You're morons. Because the bottom line of all of this is no one gives a shit whether you succeed or not. Not to mention you're not talented. You definitely don't have passion, but you sure are chasing that seduction tag that he's always posting about as he erotically kisses his fiance at some dumbass eat clean party. Talk about dumbass fucking shit. See, the more you produce content, the more people get to know your energy. And you can either allow them to take from you, you can battle them, you can squash them like a bug, or you can participate in their fucking evil. But if you don't participate in their egotistical, jealous ego, they're going to try to stomp you out, which is what Mona Van and Gary Vee and all his little cohorts tried to do to me. So you think because you look a certain way and because you're in some certain circle that you're going to be able to become famous because your husband's going to pay for a viral piece of content. That used to be the case until my content showed up. That's why no one is speaking the truth and why all of news media known as fake news media is speaking the way they're speaking about me. When they refer to Donald Trump, they are actually referring to me. When they're referring to Donald Trump, they're actually referring to me. And that's the kind of man Donald Trump is. He stands in the way. He stands in the way to protect me. And I don't want you to protect me anymore, Trump. I want you to stand back and show people your shining star because you're the president of this country. You were the president in 2020. They've taken him to court for me. The people of January 6th, they fought not only for this country, but they also fought for Donald Trump. They also fought for me. So when The View speaks about Donald Trump, they're not talking about Donald Trump. They're talking about me. And when they're trying to dog out JD Vance, they're trying to dog me out. And when they're dogging out me with Mona Van and Gary Vee's doing that shit, JD Vance and Donald Trump are trying to protect me. Think about what that has been like. When I'm the American citizen, Donald Trump's the American citizen, JD Vance is the American citizen, and Kamala Harris is an Indian. Not a Vivek Indian. A hidden India. A hidden Indian with a hidden agenda, not to mention she's a woman. So every time these people speak smack and gossip and drama about Donald Trump, they're talking about me. And I wanted you to know that. So when you hear Donald Trump's name in their coming out their mouths, they're not talking about him. They're talking about me. An American citizen who's been abused by an Iranian, who's been abused by a Russian, who's been abused by a California man named Newsom while he stands next to Paris Hilton, who's clearly child abusing. When the news media speaks about Donald Trump, they're speaking about me. When Newsom's standing on a pedestal with Paris Hilton, they're doing that to instigate me, to hurt me and to hurt infants. And that's where America has gone. Instead of having a logical conversation between me and Newsom and Paris Hilton about two infants, they would rather instigate a WAR over video to video while she wears BDSM costumes and U.S. fans and followers say democracy. So Pelosi, Newsom, Hillary Clinton, when they speak about Donald Trump, which is all negative, they're talking about me. They're talking about my ethics and morals and how I've been an upstanding citizen my entire life. And they're disregarding the Constitution. And they are enslaving me into this new form of abuse they call democracy. That's their campaign strategy. Kamala Harris is not American. Because Americans don't behave like that. When Kamala Harris talks about Project 2025, she's talking about me. She's talking about my little son named Rustin. She's talking about my Raiden. She's talking about Jensen. She's talking about my children. So when Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, they speak about Project 2025, they're talking about my project. My project is about ethics and morals and finding a common ground for creating democracy in a republic of the Constitution for equal and fair, not for bureaucracy and sadistic psychosis. So when you hear the words Donald Trump come out of Kamala Harris, you know that he and she are talking about me. Think about that for a minute when she's standing in front of you and lying to your face by twisting the words around to try to beat down this country, to create no ethics and morals with no law and order while she has podcasts with criminals, while she abuses them. So she has podcasts with criminals and then she abuses them.